All right, now we're learning from a speech that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave. And this speech was given in, here it is. Here it is. Tavshin Nun Beit, right? Kislev in 19, I think it was still 1991, right? Still 1991. The Rebbe gave. And this was shortly before he had a stroke that rendered him unable to speak. So these are very, this is sort of like last instructions, so to speak, what we're supposed to do, final instructions. So, of course, what are we supposed to do? We have to bring Mashiach. That's the idea of bringing Mashiach. As we spoke so many times before, Mashiach is going to be a person that is going to reveal to the Jews what it really means to be a Jew. And through them to fix up the whole world, to make the world into a blessed and a happy, and every creation will feel the Creator. God is creating everybody uniquely and differently, but that the Jews have to wake up first. So it says, in order for the Jews to wake up first, is you have to realize, what is a Jew? It says, well, we can learn from the moon. We can learn from the moon. What is the moon? The moon, we see, gets bigger and smaller. If you look at the moon, it gets bigger and small. Says the Rebbe, not really. Not really. Fact is, the moon is always getting bigger. The first half of the month, it gets bigger with the light. The second half of the month, it gets bigger with the moon. The moon itself. That's why the date of the month increases. The light of the moon gets bigger and bigger and bigger until the middle of the month. But then the moon itself is more and more revealed the last half of the month. That's why the months go up to 29 or 30 days. Because there's an increase. And in some ways, the last part of the month, when the moon itself is revealed, then it's even more than in the beginning. The only problem is that when the moon is revealed, it's such an essence revelation that we can't see it. Because the moon, in its essence, is supposed to be like the sun. Excuse me. It's supposed to be independent like the sun. Well, it's supposed to be independent like the sun. And that's what is revealed in the second half of the month. In the second half of the month, we see the moon itself, the essence of the moon, the source of the light, the source of the light of the moon. And that's because the second half of the month, the moon moves closer to the sun. In other words, the light lit part of the sun is facing the sun, and the other part, which is the essence of the moon itself, is facing us. Oh, so he says that's like the Jewish people. The Jewish people, what they shine out and what they give to the world, that's really wonderful. But that's only half of the picture. The essence of what the Jewish people, that's even another half, and it's the most important half. Because the second half, what's the essence of the Jewish people itself, which that is equal to God. Which, of course, that makes no sense, but the whole business makes no sense. And that's why God chose the Jews. The Jews are holy people. God that calls the Jews my children, my wife, my partner, my equal, ta'amati, right? They're equal, ta'amati, my twin, the Jewish people. So we don't know what a Jewish person is now. We don't know what it means to be a Jew, right? But one thing we do know is it really bothers a lot of the non-Jews. It really bothers them. It drives them crazy, right? And we can see that now, especially now. It's really coming out to be revealed that the streets are packed with people just screaming against the Jews. Why? They make up an excuse because we're hurting the Palestinians. We drove the Palestinians out. We know this. And the simple fact is that we didn't do anything bad to the Palestinians. And even if we did, we have every right to do it. We conquered. The conquerors can do whatever they want to the conquered. That's just a general thing in the world, right? Every nation in the world has been conquered by somebody else, right? The people that are living in every nation in the world are not the people that were there from time immemorial. They were always there from the beginning of the creation, right? The people that live in America, especially not. And even in England and these places which were, So every place is conquered by somebody else. Right? So we can say, so we conquered it. We conquered the world. No. In fact, the Rebbe, I guess this is the place maybe to say it. The Rebbe has a very interesting speech, and it says, the Rebbe talks about this, and he says there's the first Rashi in the Chumash, the first Rashi in the Bible. Rashi is the main explainer, commentary of the Torah. Rashi is the initials of Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki. That's his name, Rabbi Shlomo. And he's the main commentary on the Torah. So he says that the Torah begins with Bereshit, and he asks the question, why does that Torah have to begin with how God created the world? What do we care about that? The Torah is a religious book. Start off when God took the Jews out of Egypt, and that's when the Jewish people began, and God gave them commandments. So no, the Torah wants to tell us that God created the world. Because if the non-Jews come and they say, you are thieves, you stole the land of Israel, you're thieves, you stole the land of Israel, we tell them, no, God created the world. True, we took the land of Israel because God gave it to us. God gave it to the non-Jews. And then afterwards, he took it from them and he gave it to us. So the Rebbe says, why would the world come and tell us that we're thieves? Why would they come? I mean, every nation conquers every other nation, right? No one came to Nebuchadnezzar or to Alexander the Great or whoever it was and say, you're a thief, you stole, right? When Napoleon conquered these lands, they didn't say you're a thief. They say you're whatever it is. We'll beat your army. After Napoleon was defeated, so he was given great honors, but he wasn't called a thief. Why were they called a thief? Russia, they took over these lands. They're not called. They stole the lands from the people. They conquered, but they're not thieves. Why are they called thieves? So listim, you're thieves. Says why? Because the possession of the Jews on the land of Israel is different from anything else. Because the Jews have the land of Israel eternally. It can't be taken from them. It can't. It's theirs eternally. And even if no one lives on it, even if there's no Jew that lives on the land of Israel from the time of Abraham, there was no Jew ever, nevertheless it's their possession. And the world knows it. And therefore they say, Jews, you're thieves. You claim that this land is yours forever. It can't be conquered. All the other lands can be taken away from the people. That's not thievery. That's the way the world goes. But Jews, you have the land permanently. You say permanently, then you stole it. You took it out of the rules of nature, of mankind. No such thing as permanent land. It belongs to you all the right, and that's why the whole world, soon, God willing, the Israeli government will realize that that's their real claim to the land of Israel. And as long as they don't make this claim, so the whole world is they'll win, right? The world, so to speak, their claims are better, right? And Israel doesn't have anything to say. Our claim is the land of Israel is ours because God gave it to us, and it's ours permanently. And if you have problems, take it up with God. Because that's what the Jewish people are. But it's not in the realm of understanding. That's what we just finished learning. It's from the other side of the river. Eber and Nahar. And here's the same thing, the moon. The moon, when it shines, you can understand the moon shines. But when the moon does not shine, then what's the benefit of the moon? That's when the moon is really benefiting us. That's the essence of the moon. Let's understand this a little bit deeper. When it says that the moon is full, the middle of the month, so we see that there's different months of the year. There's winter months and there's summer months. In the summer months, the third of the summer months, in other words, the month from Nisan, when they got out of Egypt, that begins the summer. There's a spring, so it begins the summer. So the third month from Nisan is when the Torah was given. That's the third summer month. The third winter month, that's from Rosh Hashanah. The third winter month, that's the month of Kislev. And that's when the Torah was given also, Torah Chassidut Chabad, which is the only books that explain the real connection between God and the world and what's going to happen when Moshiach comes, that will reveal the true nature of the Jewish people. That's the only books. And that's the month of Kislev. Chodesh HaShlishi, the third month of the winter months. This is somehow or other why it is better than the third of the summer months, Sivan, the third month of the summer. Achiluk, the difference between winter and summer. Between the summer and the winter is like this. In the months of the summer, Meir or V'chol Shemesh, there is shining the heat and the light of the sun. Betokef, in a revealed way, Yoter, more than in the winter months. Shekayetz Uzaman Chom, because summer is the time of warm, it's warm. And the days God called light days are longer than the nights. That's summer. The sun is dominant in the summer. Light is dominant. The chorif, but the winter, that's the time of cold. And night is dominant. Aloylat aruchim miyayomin. The nights are longer than the days. Be'ikar tamsis kol artzot, and the main thing, and the essence of all of the lands, the land of Israel, and yet, especially in Israel, right? You can see, and now it's the winter months, right? So Shabbat, for instance, it comes in now 4:30. 4:30 Shabbat comes in, right? That means the night starts. That's when the night starts. 4:30, really early, and Shabbat goes out also 4:30, 5:30, really early, really early. Shabbat is very short, so to speak. There's a lot of time to sleep. No, right, but Shabbat is supposed to be a time when you feel the Shabbat. Here it's the days are very, very short and the nights are very, very long, especially in Israel. The Inyani Ba'avoda, other places like Australia, right? In the summer, it's the opposite, but especially in the land of Israel, that's the way it is. Inyani Ba'avoda, then in the summer months, Mudgash is mainly stressed the revelation of the sun. Lamaila mimata, this is from above to below. Automatic. God gives blessing the summer months. Everything is easy, day is long. Which is not the case. The winter months, it's stressed. Are mainly avodas Israel, the work of the Jewish people. That's the moon, from below to above. That we have to make the light. Okay, and therefore, when the moon is full in the third month of the summer, since the whole thing of the summer is light, the main thing of the summer is the sun and light, and it's not so much what the Jews have to do. Therefore, it's still recognized the difference between the sun and the moon. Right? The sun, just in general, the holidays. What's the holidays in the summer months? It starts off with Passover. Passover, God did everything. God took the Jews out. God gave them bread from heaven. God destroyed the Egyptians. God brought them to Sinai. God spoke to them at Sinai. The Jewish people didn't basically have to do anything, just leave, just not to oppose. That's the summer months. The Mela, so Harizeh, Adayan, this is still Shlemos Halavana Kefi Shemakabelas Minachama. This is like how the moon receives from the sun. So in the third summer month, which is when the Torah was given, this is everything coming from above to below. This is stressing God. There's more stressed God, what God does. And that the Jewish people received the Torah, the Jewish people are like, they're just the receptacles. They just receive. So to speak, like the bride at a wedding, she's quiet. She just receives. She doesn't say anything. That's in the third summer month when the Torah was given, Sivan. When the moon is full. On the third winter month, that's the month of Kislev. That's the month of Kislev when the first Rebbe got out of the jail. That's when Torah Chassidut really began. Kavan, since the main thing is the service of the Jewish people, that's like Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, we have to do the work. That's the third month from Rosh Hashanah. We do the work. This is the winter months when we have to produce the light. Then it's stressed in here, the whole point of the marriage of Mount Sinai. The main point of Mount Sinai is that the Jewish people should eventually become independent. Not that they should always be receiving. That the Jewish people, they themselves become the givers. What happened on Mount Sinai? Mount Sinai was the third summer month. It came after the amazing miracles from Nisan, and which is corresponding to the fact that the sun gets brighter, the days get longer. There's more revelation from above. And therefore, you can ask yourself a simple question, why is it that the Jews, 40 days after they received the Torah, they worshiped the golden calf? So the answer is, when they received the Torah, they were getting everything from above, every gifts from above. And as soon as God stopped giving them gifts from above, so they were confused. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't be on their own. That's not the goal of giving the Torah. Goal of giving the Torah is that the Jewish people should become independently so devoted to God, like Abraham was, that the Torah is imbued inside of them, that the Jews and God are totally one. That's when Jews are called God's twin, Taimoti. The Jews are called the twin of God. And the fact of the matter is, that's what it means the Jewish people are the sons of God. Bani Bechori, the Jews are the firstborn son of God, my chosen ones. It means that the Jews are connected intimately with God to a degree that the Jews, they are God in the world. That's the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is Am Yisrael. That's the Shekhinah. That's God's presence in the world, is the Jewish people. Now we can also add on that this is also hinted at the word Kislev. The word Kislev, that's the month we're in now, that in it, especially is the third month of the winter months, is Kislev. Kislev includes two words, Kes, which means covering, and Lamed Vav, which we see means revelation. We'll see. Kes means Kisui, covering over. Helam, concealment. The Lamed Vav, this is Lamed Vav, the number 36. That's also the numerical value of the word Eile, these, pointing at something, revelation. This indicates on revelation. Shisha Pamim, Shisha, 6 times 6. V'chibur Shneim, and joining both of them together into one word means what? Concealment and revelation. This hints at the joining together of concealment and revelation together. How can something be concealed and revealed at the same time? How can it be? Etzem, namely the essence of the Creator himself, which is a concealment, which is concealed by the one who is receiving. Bobit Kal come to be revealed. This is not in a way of giving and receiving. They become one. Kislev means that both. How can you have concealment and revelation? So it's very simple. That which is incomprehensible, which is concealed from everybody, right? It becomes revealed in everybody. How? That everyone opens up inside of themselves a new sense, a new ability to comprehend and to live, which is what's above understanding. Now it's called faith. Now it's called conscience, if you want to call it. Faith. You have faith in something, you don't understand why. Right? Everybody laughs at you. Everybody says, what are you believing in? That's what I believe. Right? Or you're honest, everybody else is dishonest. Everyone else is cheating on their wife, and you don't cheat. Why not? Come on, it's a good chance. We got a party with it. No, I'm not going to do it. You're a square. Right? No, I'm going to be honest. You're afraid of your wife. You're afraid of, listen, it could be, but I'm going to be honest. Everyone else is stealing. You don't steal. Everyone else is murdering. You don't murder. Right? The Cossacks come in, and one Cossack says, I'm not going to kill women and children. I'm simply not going to do it. All of this conscience bothers him. What happened? It's above understanding. It doesn't make any sense. Here, those are the things I gave you was just an example. The Jewish people feel and know that there is a creator. It's above understanding. It's totally incomprehensible. They know that there's a creator that cares, and that the creator cares about every detail, and the creator is infinitely, infinitely close to us. On the other hand, he's infinitely above us. This is totally above understanding. Makes no sense. Makes no sense that there's a creator. It makes even less sense that he cares about us, right? What was the joke that they say? What that somebody came in to the school? Was he came in one of a big atheist or something? His children came in and he said that in school they learned about God taking the Jews out of Egypt, and he said, "You go back and tell the teacher that God does not exist." What is it? No, that God does not exist and we don't believe in him. Something like that. God does not exist and we don't believe in him. In other words, if he doesn't exist, so what's there not to believe in? I messed up the joke. It says I have to. There is no God and we don't believe in that. That's something, and we hate him or something. There's no God. All right, I have to redo the joke. But anyway, the point of the joke is is that God is incomprehensible. For some reason or other, it wakes people up, right? People hate the Jews. Why do they hate the Jews? I don't know. And the reason that the deep down reason is because God shows us we're God in the world. People hate God. They can't find God. So we're God. The ideal is that's like the moon. There is the revelation of the moon, what the Jews do. The Jews are good pianists and they're good violinists and they're good scientists and they're good this and that. But then there's the essence of what is a Jew? What is a Jew? What is a Jew is incomprehensible. It can't be understood. That's the thing of Kislev. What is incomprehensible, case is covered. Lamed Vav becomes revealed. That's the whole idea of the Jewish people revealing God in the world. Another name for that, by the way, is called happiness. A person is happy. Happiness is a thing which is above understanding. If you strive for happiness, it means you try to grab onto it and understand it. You're never going to be happy because you're always going to try to understand things. It's always going to be, you have to be the boss. It has to be a thing that it's bigger than you, right? Something really good happens. Everybody's happy. Why are they happy? It's happiness. Where does it come from? Genuine happiness. It says the whole world, when people used to go to the Holy Temple, they used to come back, they felt happy. Moadim l'simcha. Says that's the whole essence of the Jewish people. That's in the winter months. That's the essence is shining out, like the dark side of the moon. It's revealed. It's not in a way of a giver or receiver, like it is in the summer when we feel that there's a giver and that we're receiving. But in the winter months, says then the main stress is on the receiver, that the world becomes the dominant thing, and the job of the Jewish people is to reveal why God is making the physical world, why the world is so holy. And that's done by revealing how the Jews are so holy. This is also stressed by the holidays, which are in the end of the month of Kislev, namely Chanukah, even though it's the end of the month, Or Lavana, when the light of the moon gets less and less. And the Rebbe said that's how we began a couple of days ago, that all the Jewish holidays are in either the middle of the month or in the beginning of the month. All the Jewish holidays are in either the beginning of the month, or the first half of the month, or in the very middle of the month. Like the Sukkot and the Passover are in the middle of the month. They begin in the middle of the month. And the Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Shavuot, they're more in the beginning of the month. But there's no holidays in the end of the month. Says the Rebbe, oh yes, there is. There's Chanukah. And there's also Yutet Kislev. Why are those two holidays in the end of the month when the moon is getting less? Because the moon is, the light of the moon is less. But the moon itself is getting bigger. This is stressing that, in fact, Mugash, that in actual fact, that Mosef Aholech, that this fact that the light is getting more and more that's in the beginning of the month. But the fact is the end of the month is also getting more and more. Just like Chanukah, on the first day, they light one candle, and the second day, two. That from day to day, is increasing light. In the darkest part of the month, they're increasing light in Chanukah. Shebazem Mudgas, this is stressing at the fact, Shamiu the Or Lavana, that the lessening, making less, the waning of the light of the moon Eino Ella, it's only just a mute, but dargashal or. It's just in the light that comes out of the moon. Just a ray of light which is reflected from the moon, because the closeness and there's the light that comes from the sun that is reflected off the moon, because the closeness and the essence which is above the light, but not the light is less. But why did you light more and more candles? Because the essence of the moon is even more. Of a low miut is galut. There's not any limitation of the moon itself. Hari miyom liyom, every day, the light gets the essence of the light, essence of the moon shines more and more. But what the moon does, it goes away. Shteinero, 2 lights, 3 lights, that it goes and becomes revealed the essence. Sometimes you can see this also in people when they, let's say they're old, then their true nature comes out, who they really are. The true nature. A person, a lot of times, they're standing up on the stage or something like that, and they're the boss of everything, and everything is coming to them. So you don't really know who the person is. He's really nice as long as everything is going really good. But what happens when things are not going so good? When the the light is waning, when the moon gets less and less light, it's winter, it's dark. That's when a person's true personality comes out. Then you can see that sometimes people. I remember hearing a story once that there was a couple that they survived the Holocaust. They hid in their apartment, and they were afraid to come out. They hid in their apartment. They didn't make any noise in the apartment for like a year or 2 years, however long it was. And I guess they lived in like Hungary or Austria or someplace. Hungary. Anyway, they didn't come out. But somebody would leave food in front of their door every day. And who was it? It was their next door neighbor, a lady that lived in there. She was like a rabid anti-Semite. She would spit whenever she saw them, and she would call them names, and she wouldn't left them food. And after the war, they asked her, "Why did you do it?" She said, "Listen, I hated the Jews, but I never believed it would come to this. I never believed it would come to this, that they would murder babies and women and children. I didn't know." In other words, all the time she was the boss, and then her personality was terrible. But as soon as it went out of her control, then her true personality came out. All of a sudden, she defied them. She said, "No, I'm not going to go along with the stream. I'm not going to be like everybody." She risked her life. This German lady or whatever, Austrian lady, she risked her life to do it. If they found that she was doing it, they would kill her also. But she just said, so sometimes when it's dark, the true personality of a person comes out. The same thing is with the Jews. The purpose of the Jews is that they're supposed to light up the world. And when it's dark, that's when sometimes the true nature of the Jewish people comes out. I think that's what's going on now with all the anti-Semitism, that the true nature of the Jewish people is going to come out. And that's what happened to me, right? As soon as I heard an anti-Semitic statement from this professor, that he made an anti-Semite, I thought, what in the world is that? What's he got about the Jews? All of a sudden I started thinking, what is a Jew? Maybe I should just keep quiet about the whole thing. And suddenly I realized that what's hidden inside of me has to be revealed. This is a very important thing. And that's the whole essence of the Kislev, that what's revealed becomes concealed. That becomes the main thing. I hope you say, according to this, now we can understand the reason that Rosh Hashanah, that Chassidut was on the last part of the month. The last part of the month, Yud Tet Kislev. It's right before Chanukah, true, but it's after the moon is full. When the moon is getting smaller and smaller, the light is getting smaller and smaller. Why is it? All the holidays of Judaism are on either the middle of the month or the beginning of the month. And the only two that aren't is Chanukah and Yud Tet Kislev. Why put Yud Tet Kislev here? Why? The Mala, the special thing about Rosh Hashanah and the giving, the first day of the beginning, and the giving of the Torah of Chassidut on Yud Tet Kislev, that's the day that the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison, and he took this as a sign from God that he should increase his teachings. because he was put in prison because of his teachings. It's called the holiday of holidays, Shabbat Matchila, that it begins the revelation of the Mashiach. And that's the reasons of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah. That's what Rashi says in the beginning of the Song of Songs. King Solomon says right in the beginning, I think the second sentence in the Song of Songs, it says, God will kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. It says, what's that talking about? God's mouth is the Torah. Up to now, we've only heard the word of God. But when Mashiach comes, he's going to teach us the secrets of every word of God. The secrets, those secrets, that's the kisses of God. He will kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. That's the secret reasons and concealed hidden mysteries of the Torah. Torah Chadasha Mitetetz. It's going to be a new Torah that's going to come from me. What do you mean a new Torah? We're going to see the reasons behind it. It's going to be like second honeymoon. We'll feel the reasons of everything inside of every word inside of the Torah. Every commandment will be infinitely meaningful. The Ein Aroch, incomparably to how it was in the time when God gave the Torah in the summer months, way back then in Sivan. Like the rabbis say, Torah Sha'adam Lamed B'Olam Hazeh, the Torah that we're learning now, is just like wind compared to the Torah of the Mashiach. One of the novelties of the days of the Mashiach regarding when the Torah was given is marriage. Like it says in the Midrash, it's like a king that he engaged a woman. He proposed to a woman, engaged her, and he wrote for her, and he wrote down that he was going to give all sorts of gifts, small gifts, engagement party. As soon as he took her and married her, he gave her big gifts like a husband. Also, this world is Jerusalem. It's just like an engagement. When God at Mount Sinai, he got engaged to the Jewish people. Like it says, you are engaged to me. And all he gave them was just the moon. The first of the commandments in the Torah is sanctifying the month. On the days of the Mashiach, that's going to be the marriage. Like it says, like it says that your husband, the one who has relations with you, consummates the wedding, he's the one that really makes you into the wife. But at that time, in other words, the difference between engagement is an external connection, an emotional connection. We know that the bride knows that the groom loves her, he wants to get married to her, but they didn't get married yet. The marriage is already an intimate connection. It's an eternal connection, and not only that, it can give birth to children. It's an intimate connection that gives birth to children, gives birth. The same thing is at Mount Sinai, God got engaged to the Jewish people, but it didn't really change the world. Mashiach is going to reveal the inner meaning of every single commandment, of every single word of the Torah. So when the Jews do the commandments, when they say the Torah, then it's going to give birth. It'll change the whole world. It's an inner, intimate connection. Shneimar, like it says, yazhiru, those who understand will shine like the brilliance of the heavens. And that's where the word the Zohar comes from. Brilliant. Matzdiki rabim kakochvesh la'olam po'ed. It says we will give merit, bring merit and blessing to the multitudes like the stars shining forever. That the main connection of the Jewish people with God will be one. That's the idea of a marriage. And that will be at the days of the Mashiach. A marriage, the wife so becomes equal to the husband. Then they're one couple. Then there will be the appointed time of Vahaya or Lavana, then the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. That the Jewish people, they will be not just like the moon, that they receive from the sun, that God only gave them. 1 second, moon. God only gave them the moon alone. The Jewish people, they will be like the sun itself. God gives them everything. God, also the moon, also the sun. When God gave them the Torah, he gave them the moon. That was the first commandment of sanctifying the moon. But when God sends Mashiach, is this going to be a connection between God and the Jewish people, which that we'll see that the Jewish people and God are totally one. Yesh Lomar, we can also say that the Indian said this is also hinted at the Kavios of Rosh Hashanah and Matan Torah of Torah Chasidus, and after why it is on the 19th day of the month, the Jewish month, after the moon is full. The moon is always full on the 15th. Shabbat said that this is hints at the completion of the moon, not just the light that comes from the moon. This is going to be in addition to the fact that the moon gives light. Shemit Karevet the sun. Now this moon is coming closer to the sun, unites with the sun, and therefore the bright part of the moon is facing the sun, but the dark part of the moon is facing us. Then the light of the moon will be the light of the sun, equal, or more detail. Because the Matan Torah of Hasidut was the third day. When the Rebbe spoke this, Yutet Kislev came out on a Tuesday, Yom Shlishi. By us, Yom Yutet Kislev is going to be on Shabbat, next Shabbat. And on Yom Shlishi, when which is blessed from the day of Shabbat, it says after, by means of the preparation of the moon being full, Erev Shabbat, right? By us, it was full day. So this is not really relevant to us so much this year, because the Rebbe is talking about how the day of the month and the days the fell out back then in 1991. But nevertheless, the whole idea is that it becomes one crown for both of them. But Yom HaChamishi then is Chai. Okay, he corresponded it with the days of the week and the days of the month, etc. This year, Rosh Hashanah of Hasidut, Yutet Kislev, will be on Shabbat. So when it when it falls on Shabbat, that indicates that this unity will be in a way of a gift from heaven, a gift that we don't have to do so much work. Yesh Kasher, especially the Torah portion, which is of Shabbat Vayishlach, and of Yom Shlishi. That's today. Here we are, Yom Shlishi and Yom Revi, and also Parshas Vayeshev. That's going to be next week. It's going to the whole novelty of Yaakov and Vayishlach and Yeshev is Vayetze. Parshas Vayetze is how Yaakov was with Lavan and Toldot. Here, Yaakov and Esav are spoken about in Parshas. You know what? This we'll do tomorrow. This we're going to do tomorrow. We're already short of time. We'll do this tomorrow, God willing. What have we learned? We've learned today that the Jewish people are one with God. No one understands what God is, but the Jewish people reveal him in the world. No one understands what the Jewish people are, but Mashiach will reveal them in the world. And when that happens, there'll be a whole totally new way of looking at what the world is, and what the Torah is, and what the commandments are, and what every word of the Torah is. Then everyone in the world will feel how much the Creator loves them, and that the not just the night will be illuminated by the shining of the moon, but by the essence of the moon itself. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Now let's do the Yom Yom. 1 minute. That doesn't stop. Right.